this is truly a go with the flow evening. I'm loving it. It's like being in the kitchen, you know? With Julia Child, when the chicken falls on the floor, she says, oh, just pick it up, nobody's going to know. So this is one of my most favorite nights of the year, actually. It's such a beautiful thing that's synonymous to us. And I used to think we're the only ones in the world that would put aside a whole day for gratitude. But then I remember the Canadians do it too in October. And so, but nevertheless, it's a North American thing to do. And it's always a joy. It's always a joy to have the opportunity to come together for no other reason but just to be with each other, to catch up with each other, to have fun with each other, to share with each other, play with each other, and all of that wonderful good stuff. But what I love about having a Thanksgiving Eve service is that we can come together the night before all the fun and the games and the food and the chat and so on. And we can be in that beautiful state of open receptivity to the deepest blessing of all. And that is the realization that within us is everything we need in order to flourish and to thrive. Within us, we have that powerful energy and intelligence and presence and life and light and love and peace and beauty and power and joy and wisdom and grace and knowledge and understanding, and the list goes on. And it's all right here. And that's worthy of us taking a little time out, a quiet time out, a still time out, to be able to try and digest that. And digest it, we're endeavoring to do all of the time when we remember to do it. And that's the beauty of having a spiritual family. It provides us with the opportunity of coming together, gathering together, and being able to be in that state of readiness and openness and availability to knowing and feeling and sensing the otherness that is within us and everything and everyone else too. There's a commonality at this time of year in this great land. Everybody is united under the one thing: gratitude and thanksgiving and appreciation at their own level of awareness and their own way of celebrating it. And it creates the energy of where one or two are gathered together. There is a greater sense of presence in the midst of us. And so it's a delight to be able to be here with you and do that. My first piece of gratitude for this next 24 hours is for you. I can't tell you how grateful I am that you, with all that you could be doing, with all that's on your plate, so to speak, pardon the pun, you're here. You took time out to be here, to give yourself, to gift yourself with this opportunity wherein any great good realization could happen within you, any great good thing. And that's just a tremendous thing, and I don't think we realize how tremendous it is. Not everybody does this. In fact, we're 0.0000% of us do this night of the year. And so I must namaste you for that, for your awareness that you're that in tuned, that you're here, instead of all the places you could and should and all the rest of it be. And so this celebration, of course, goes way back in time, long before the Pilgrims. People have taken time out at harvest time, coming toward the end of the year, to celebrate the fact that they have a harvest and that they can make it through the winter and so on. And as far as our pilgrims are concerned, well, you know, we're knowing that somewhere along the line they were very grateful to be able to make it through hard times and so on and so forth. Exactly what went on, we're not terribly sure. We have an idea, and it's fun to guess. But we do know there was a celebration, and we do know that the Native Americans were part of it, which is wonderful. And so out of those seeds grew up this great celebration of Thanksgiving, which was, came into being much later after the Pilgrims first arrived. And so it's a delight, especially for me, to know that preempting us here, that ahead of me here, my brother and my sister-in-law and my nephew and his wife will be celebrating a fantastic Thanksgiving meal in a wonderful restaurant in Waterford in Ireland. Because once upon a time, the chef and his wife lived in the States, and they just loved this beautiful celebration. And he's French and she's Irish, and she, suggested to him, why don't we do a Thanksgiving here? And he went for it. And so they come all over Ireland, all over Ireland to celebrate. So he'll be celebrating just ahead of us because they're 8 hours ahead of us. And I love that idea. See, it's trickling out all over the place, and Americans all over the world will be celebrating alongside of us. It's not just here. And when we look at what we're doing is we're taking time out to realize what has always been realized. If you go way, way back, it was, to sow the seeds for why we're grateful. Epictetus was the one who said, he is a wise man who does not grieve over what he has not got, but rejoices over what he has. And then another very famous ancient Roman said, Cicero, he said that gratitude is the most important and principal virtue of all. Indeed, he says, it is the parent of virtues. So what we're talking about here is attitude as an energy, attitude as a way of being, a vibe in being, attitude as a constant and continuous thing within us. Gratitude, thanksgiving, appreciation, all flow from the same river. And these are great and wonderful things that cause us to be the best of ourselves when we're aligned with that state. Gratitude is that type of energy that causes us to be more compassionate, more kind, more engaged and more connected, pulls us and moves us more deeply into a loving energy from which we're going to think and move and live and have our beings. That's what it does. Because I cannot be grateful unless I'm mindful. And when I'm mindful and when I'm paying attention and when I'm tuned in and when I'm focused out of that sense of gratitude, wonderful feelings flow. And the gratitude arises out of realizing the bounty there is in life and living, the bounty there is in creation, the amazing, amazing awe and wonder and beauty and grace that is available to us, free-flowing, without limit. And when we get that sense, it fills us up with this energy of praise and thanksgiving. Because you can't be grateful without praising. And you can't be grateful and praising without blessing. And these are all energies that keep us working together as one mind, heart, to produce a world, a compassionate world that works for everyone, you see. And so I can see why Cicero said it is the parent of virtues. It's a way of life. However, coming together once a year, to do what we do and celebrate how we celebrate is glorious. But of course, for the truth student, for emerging spirits, for emerging souls, we know that gratitude is a constant, continuous, and permanent state. And that if we truly want to get in touch with the essence and the truth of who we are, we will constantly live in a state of gratitude and appreciation and thanksgiving. In all things we are told to give thanks, not just in the good times, but in all things, in all ways, at all times, to be thankful, to be grateful, because it's that energy that's going to lift us up and pull us up out of the funk, whatever it might be that we might find ourselves in. To be grateful To take the bread of the day, the crumbs that are left over from yesterday, if they're crumbs, and pull them all together and hold them in our precious hands and bless them and know that the leavening agent is still in it. The yeast, the spiritual yeast in that will rise and multiply what we have so that we can not only be nurtured by it, but share from it as well. That's the amazing thing of it. So for you and for me, a day to draw aside, to rest, to be grateful, to be thankful, to really have time to connect with our loved ones and to be off of schedule and to be away from agendas is not anything like enough for us. Not even if it's one day a week, because every day for you and every day for me is a Sabbath day. Every day for you and every day for me is a holy day. In every day of my life, I stand on holy ground. Maybe that the holy ground I'm standing on may be full of debris of this challenge and the other challenge, but nevertheless, under all of that debris is holy ground. And if I can manage to pull my wits about me, so to speak, and clear away the debris, there I am. Nothing impeding me from feeling that energy that is always there, available and present to me. And so, always and every moment of our lives, you and I are called to be in that state of thanksgiving, which is the state of trans-living, trans over and above living, super living, heightened living, vibrant living. So that's what Thanksgiving is. When I'm in and one with the flow of it, that's where it leads me. And so out of that attitude of gratitude is a deep, deep sense of expansiveness, as the cliche goes. Out of the attitude of gratitude is the experience of latitude. And so that's what you and I could be living from every day of our lives. And indeed, we do endeavor to be grateful, heaven knows, as much as possible. But we're told we could be in that state all of the time, pray without ceasing, be in gratitude without ceasing. Because here's the thing, when I am grateful, I'm grateful because I know that there's more than I appear to be present to me and part of me. I'm knowing that the power and the presence of the infinite and the creator of it all is one with me. The Father and I are one. Life and I are one. Good and I are one. God and I are one. So if that's the case, then truly all that the Father has is mine. All that good is mine. All that life is in its best imaginings is mine. Why wouldn't I be grateful when I catch the consciousness of that? I couldn't help myself but not be grateful when I catch the consciousness of that. And once I move into that state, what happens? When I rise up out of the mundane, out of the human condition, when I move up out of a state of lassitude that can come from all the time over-identifying with my humanity, as soon as I arise, then life arises and moves toward me. Life comes at me with the robe and the ring and the sandals and the celebration and the connection in a conscious way. Soon as that prodigal son came to his senses and got up and rose up, already that father had an inkling. And before that son reached anywhere like home, that father was out there watching, waiting, and when he saw him, ran to him and embraced him. And that's how it is with life. As soon as I rise up in life, life rises up potently and powerfully in me. But it awaits my availability. Scripture says God awaits your availability. Imagine that. No pushiness, no forcing, no cajoling, no manipulating, no wagging the finger. It's time now. No. But in smiling, repose within me, life awaits my arising, so that it can rise up to greet and meet me and be everything it can be in me, through me, and as me. That's what we're here celebrating tonight. That's what we're grateful for tonight. That even if we don't feel it yet, even believe it yet, we know it is an infinite possibility, and it excites us and it delights us. And the more we are in gratitude, the more we are grateful, the more we are moving more deeply into awakening, into the realization that God and I are one, and that all of the Father has is mine. And it's mine now. It's mine now. It is written, you know, that the gods provide the thread when we begin to weave the web. The gods provide the thread as much as we want of it when we begin to weave the web. And every day of our lives, you and I have the opportunity to weave that web. And that's what we're doing in our lives and living. That's what's happening for us. That's what's given to us to do. And I'm reminded of the lessons I have learned from people who showed me how to be grateful. One of them in particular was Gary. Now, Gary used to come here regularly without fail on a Wednesday morning and a Sunday morning. And Gary was homeless, and he had these bags and baggages that he would bring with him. We all tried to help him out and get him backpacks and so on and so forth, but he didn't want them. He just wanted what he had. But that man was so sovereign, so sovereign. You couldn't give him anything. You could not. He would insist on buying his creative thought, pay for it himself. And he was always ready, out of gratitude, to be of help and to be of service. He would come here, help to put up the Christmas tree, the poinsettias and so on. He'd come and help with that. I can remember one year he went down to the Goodwill store. He bought himself a pair of pants and a white shirt so that he could serve at the volunteer dinner. He showed up to serve at the volunteer dinner. That's how Gary was. Showed us a lot. He was a great example to us all on how to be. A wonderful man. We don't know what happened to Gary, but all I'm knowing is that it was good and very good. And these are the things, you see, that cause us to realize how truly blessed we are. And yet, we in all our blessedness, I don't know, sometimes can get to the core of gratitude in the way that a Gary could. You know, or in the way that an elderly lady that I used to visit once upon a time. I can remember that three of us, once upon a time, on a very deeply cold winter's afternoon, skies as clear as crystal, walking down country road to get to this lady who lived in a very humble kind of cottage, could do it a lot of repair. And we visited her. Her daughter, who lived in England, asked us to do that. I was living in Ireland at the time, and we did that. And we went in, and she was making her Christmas dinner. And she was making her dinner in a skillet pot that was under a big open fire, big chimney. And God knows what was falling into it out of the chimney. But anyway, she was very happy to have food and make her dinner. And she was singing and laughing and joking and telling us stories and entertaining us and making us feel so good and made us tea so that we can warm up after the cold walk. And of course, when she'd finished making the dinner, she invited us to join her. Well, we'd already had our Christmas dinner, but however, we kind of looked at each other, swallowed deeply, and said, we'd love some, thank you so much. But we've had such a big meal, just a little bit will do, thank you so much. Besides, we didn't want to eat her food because we knew it was scarce. We brought her some stuff. And so she fed us. You know what? No food ever tasted better than that food, I can tell you that. And when we were walking back home, our hearts were singing and our heads were ringing with the understanding that, oh my gosh, how grateful and blessed we are, and how we should be giving gratitude and thanksgiving over and over and over again when somebody in those dire circumstances could be so grateful. These are lessons I've learned from people along the way. And that happened quite some time ago when I was a very young nun in Ireland, and the three of us walked over to visit our friend. And they stayed with me, they impacted me. And I find that with anybody who shows gratitude beyond the norm. It's most moving, and it's most uplifting, and it's most inspiring. And I know everybody here has those stories to tell, each one. So what I would ask of us all for tomorrow in Thanksgiving. Tonight we're rendering to God the things that are God's. Tomorrow we'll render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, food and football. And so I would say, please, whatever you do, endeavor to steer the family and friends away from politics as you meet around the table tomorrow. A couple of people on television tonight, one celebrity was saying she has created 2 tables for tomorrow's food because she says her mother is armed and waiting to get going on the political scheme. So she has one room with a door that you can close for that crowd, and one room for the door that you can close for the ones who just want to be mellow and be grateful and share with each other what's going on in each other's lives. Well, I would know for each one of us that we don't have to have 2 rooms and 2 tables and closed doors. So I would invite us all. That's one thing I'm asking us to do tomorrow. I'm serious about it, actually, that if we could avoid anything that evokes, stress and strain and dissonance tomorrow, and just relax and just release and let go, and don't have any agendas of any kind, and just let the day unfold as the day will. And it'll be a wonderful way of raising all the energy on this planet, and that's what you and I are here to do, raise the energy on the planet. And as well as that, I would ask us all to pay particular attention to anybody who is in need, and we know about it, to respond to the need as best we can, to be mindful of each other, and to respond as best we can to whatever need crosses our path. As you know, I've always said of us, we don't go out looking for causes. Causes find us. We don't have to look for them. Causes find us. We don't have to look for needs to meet. They'll find us. So again, I just want you to close your eyes for one moment and take a deep, conscious, connected breath. And know that what you're breathing in is the power, is the presence, the omnipresence of omniscient life that is awesomely powerful, that breathes you in and breathes you out and is everywhere present. And it's there available to you to use for good and the good of others at the level of your open receptivity, at the level of your allowance of it, at the level of your receptivity to it. So one thing right now, allow yourself to be open and receptive to whatever that good is. And we're knowing that that is so, and so it is. And again, I want to congratulate you for being here and investing in your spiritual unfoldment, because I don't know any one thing we could be doing better than what we're doing now. And remember that you are standing on holy ground wherever you stand, and that you are the one that the world is waiting for. You are the one the world is relying upon for your focused, conscious awareness of the commitment to raising energy wherever you are. And of course, we're here tonight to raise it in ourselves so that we can do that. So wherever you might be tomorrow, whatever you're doing tomorrow, I'm knowing for you your highest and your greatest unfolding good. And I'm knowing for you the richest blessings yet that you have experienced in tomorrow and all the tomorrows for you to come, because God, by means of you, is in an upward, forward deepening, advancing movement. Now that's the truth, and so the truth is.